Welcome to Trekyeah Experience of
This is
2019.
Welcome to Trekyeah, Mike Lefebure's Basement Edition.
So
New Year's edition.
New Year's Edition.
This edition, we're going to be picking our favorite story each from 2018.
So we're going to talk about some of our favorite stories. It's the new year, new us.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time thinking about how we could present a better Trekyeah this year, and we've got a lot of tricks up our sleeves.
But these first 2 minutes is not a great testament.
My favorite story, this feels like 2 years ago, but it was back in February. We were living in Hanoi, and our business was at a point where we really needed a break. And so we all rented these big motorbikes, except for Andy. He had a little moped.
Yeah, a little shit one.
And it was March, really?
Yeah, it was March. It was late
Feels
March.
like it was 2 years ago. We rented these motorbikes and we drove up into the mountains, crazy. Up in the highlands of Vietnam in the north. If you check our trek-in, it'll be called something. But
Tom Dow Talkathon.
In particular,
Nice.
Yeah, that's what it is. In
Some
particular,
of us just have that memory.
so we were going to this town called Tam Dao. It's up in the mountains, like way up high, Cloud City.
Links in the bio.
And the trip up there is my favorite. Like we had, I'd ridden a bike a lot. Andy had never ridden really a manual, right?
Well, that's
Evan
why I
had
didn't
never
ride.
ridden a manual. Jason, you'd never ridden a manual either?
Never ridden a manual bike, no.
So all these three guys, we like got these big bikes and we're like, all right, here's how you do it.
These big bonka honka loney.
Yeah, and so we're going right away. Evan almost dies. We're coming up. If you guys know Hanoi, this is going to be quick, but those of you who know, you're going to be impressed. It was in Long Bien, Hanoi, on the other side of the river. How there's this big highway that runs through, and there's like dam on the side. Evan was going up and got nervous, tried to hit the clutch, and lurched into oncoming traffic and like went around and made it, right? So then we pull over to get gas, and we set off on this journey that ended.
And I'm just lucky to get my bike going forward again and not killing it. This, honestly, I'm not to hijack the story, but that was sketchy, and you should not drive a manual bike in a city if you've never done it before.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you should.
fine. Just be careful.
Yeah, perfect.
Be careful. So look, Evan's fine. He did it.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Not in the other 80% of the universe.
Yeah, the other dimensions. There's some Evans that are really bent out of shape.
There's also
But
some
we've got 33% stake in the company.
Yeah.
It's like very windy roads up in the mountains. There's big trucks because they're expanding the roads, but it's not a lot of room. It's not the ideal conditions to learn how to drive a manual bike in, but that's what these guys are doing. So Evan had that mishap and then was fine the rest of the way, although sweaty. His shoulders didn't release the tension for 4 days. But Jason was doing great until we got up in the mountains, and I was up ahead, and he kind of was...
Yeah, so this is when we were way up, and there's a lot of construction, so we'd have to wait for our turn, like the oncoming traffic would come, and then we could go, and the roads are dirt and really bad. And Evan's behind me, and there's a couple times where we've all gone, and one person stalled it, and they're stuck behind, so I'm going, and I expect Evan right behind me, and I don't see him, so I'm going around in bend, and I'm looking back. Evan's perfectly fine, but I was just being paranoid, I guess, and I'm looking back to see him, and I just drive into the guardrail and just... I don't even know. Shred my pants open and my leg, and it got caught between the bike and the guardrail. But it was all
You weren't being paranoid because, like, I remember I was coming, you guys were stopped, and I'm like, guys, I can't stop. Like, don't make me stop this bike because we're on this incline, and I don't even know how to, operate this machinery on a mountainside. And
There were a few times where we were passing like a huge construction vehicle, and like there's this little shoulder for us to pass on, and like I'm say behind like the two of you, and it's like, well, okay, yeah, I guess I'm going too. I'm sneaking past him, like, is Evan alive? Oh god, Evan's coming too, huh? Okay.
Just inches away, man. And on the way, it's like on the way down, especially, it felt like a roller coaster at like Disney World with like all the things like moving like as you come down. And
There's like a
excavator,
and you're like going under the arm. And
So like we drive and it goes good. Jason's leg is bleeding, but we're still going.
Pants ripped open. Hands, all of our hands sunburnt to shit.
Yeah. So we get up to where we later learned was our destination. We didn't quite know, and we were stopped by an omen. There was a Evan. You want to talk about what you saw? You were in the lead there, right?
Mongoose battling a snake.
No, I stopped because we got to be careful with the story, guys, because this could be.
Go ahead, just finish the story, man.
All right. Well, I stopped because I remember seeing the pictures on Airbnb, and I was like, "That's the place, guys." And you're like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "That's the place." And it's, "No, it's not." I'm like, "All right, well, we're gonna go." And so
there's people sitting on the porch.
There's some people. It's weird. They're like looking at us. Yeah. They speak no English. We don't know what's going on. And then I'm like, well, let's just go. And then there's just a snake right in front of me. I'm like, oh, dude.
Battling a mongoose.
It's like, dude, oh, yeah, it's battling some creature. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny mongoose, but.
Picture a mongoose.
Sure, picture a mongoose.
Yeah.
Not the bike either, the animal. Come on.
Sure.
Pervert.
And so anyway, there was a battle, and I was like, well, how do we get around this? And we're just like sketched to go because he was literally right in front of me, and I'm on this manual bike, and I can't even I don't even know how to like go up a hill on a bike, and so it's like I could kill this easily, and the snake could eat me alive. I mean, you've seen that stuff. Boa constrictor opens jaw,
right? Kills everyone.
Eats the whole body. Anyway,
only one that escapes is fucking Jennifer Lopez.
I zipped around past everyone, kind of waiting there, and then I looked back and I see what Evan's dilemma is here because he doesn't want to start the thing like make the bike lurch and now his
on top of the
like
snake,
right on like right where the snake is. Yeah. So, anyways, the snake's like slithering across the road, and there's like a collective like sigh of relief between everyone. And then I see they don't see it yet.
There's
but
people
I see,
behind us.
There's this one guy who's coming up the like windy like switchback behind everybody, and as he's coming up, like the snake is slithering across the road. It's like, oh my god. They're like, oh, no. It's like, it's a near miss, and the snake lunges and tries to, like, bite at his ankles. I doubt he got him. The guy looked like he was half asleep driving. He had no idea what was going on.
Snake could have got him, though, swallowed him whole.
Right.
God barely made it out.
So that was my favorite story of the year.
That was the day, man. That was
Mine
a stressful day.
Well, that's a lot of time we just spent.
That was a good one. Tom Dow was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. I was so stressed out with it. And then you arm wrestled that dude up there.
Yeah, dude.
That was fun. That guy was a nice guy.
Which I had, we all had altitude sickness, so I'm like trying to, and we were a little day drunk.
And also not drinking caffeine.
Arm wrestle.
But in full health, you would have got smoked too.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
He was a very strong, he was a
he was a
corded
strong
old
guy.
Man, dude.
Wasn't even that old.
But,
He was a young buck.
oh, it hurt my head so bad trying to win an arm wrestle.
I bet. I remember that.
Migraines.
Yeah.
It hurt my head watching it.
Because we were like trying to drink tigers over the beautiful view, just like getting drunk and anyway.
Right.
Honestly, like I would say my favorite story is sort of a collection of stories, but like believe it or not,
we
don't have time for the collection. So in our place in Hanoi, the place we lived in for 2 months, like just that neighborhood was so awesome. The one that was south of Hoan Kiem. I don't know specifically the neighborhood we were in. Yeah, that place.
That place.
Really like that place. We had a banh mi lady, and I mean, just
It's like cold at this time.
Oh yeah, cold.
Like
Cold
1
Hanoi.
month was cold, the other month was like getting a little bit warmer.
But like odes to the banh mi lady here, right? You have all this street food, and like we always talk about it. We've talked about it several times in Trek-ins, but like you build these relationships with like the locals on the street, and like being from Iowa, where it's like you drive into town to get something, walking 50 yards outside of your house and seeing the same person every day, buying a banh mi from them every day, and like building this relationship. We would go out, like we had our morning meetings. We'd someone would be like, "Hey, I'm getting banh mi's. Who wants one?" You know, and they're like $1, 50 cents a piece.
$12K? What were they?
No, they were like $20K, I thought. But it's like an egg and some other stuff, and
They were good.
They were
Those
good.
ones were so
and so
good.
anyway, you'd be like, anybody want a banh mi? And you hear like, because the whole house had like a stairwell.
You hear
You'd be
her shout down.
Yeah, I'll take one. And you know, you're and Rachel would want them a vegetarian one. And so anyway, so
Come on, dude.
Anyway, so you go out there and you order 6 banh mi's from this lady,
Try
and
keep it together.
building the relationship with those people. And she taught us Vietnamese, like, Chào buổi sáng. I learned that from her.
Good morning.
Good morning, yep. And I would say, Chào buổi sáng. And it was, you just build, like, that unspoken relationship. And so that's, every time we move somewhere, you meet those people that you can't speak the language with, but you build those relationships with, and
You love them.
And you love them.
Mm-hmm.
So
one of my favorite ones, and I'll tell the quick and dirty version of it, was we had just launched our product on Amazon. We had like bad photos, so Jason. I woke up and like walked out as like sweaty Hoi An, Vietnam, and I'm my living situation's a little outside, so I'm like waking up and like the sun's like blasting me as I'm walking like kind of into the house from like a separated little add-on, and there's like coconut trees and shit over here, and I walk in and there's just like music blaring in this empty like room that we never use except for really this one time, and Jason's standing there in his underwear just sweating his ass off. He's got like bed sheets like splaying up on the wall and some what looked like heat lamps for like
turtles.
Yeah, right, like turtles or some shit. He's got like those set up like lighting the product, and he's like taking these photos, and they turned out amazing. But it was just funny to see. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, oh yeah, this is cool. Anyways, see you later. Just come back like 10 hours later, and he's like on his computer like photos, like editing them and everything, and it was just. We needed some work done, and it got,
They turned out
done.
beautifully. I mean, he took in this makeshift, like bed sheet over a dresser. Just the funniest shit, and they just are beautiful.
Yeah.
Still our main photo on our product.
Yeah.
We have sold how many units? It doesn't matter.
Almost 3,000.
Almost 3,000, and the main image was taken in a sweaty room in Vietnam.
In my underwear.
With a bed sheet background. Jason was in underwear. So you can see it every time you see our main image, dude.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, and it was about, I think, $12. I think I still need to be refunded for this, by the way. Like $12. I just drove around Hoi An looking for hardware stores to buy sheets and lamps, and I like Jimmy rigged it and had it. Enough said.
And I gave it to another entrepreneur in the area who was like, I heard your buddy made some makeshift studio. Can you want to give me that stuff?
Really?
Yeah, I gave it to him in a bag. Yeah.
That's so funny.
His name was Marcus.
Electric tape.
The guy who
Oh,
sold
you gave it to
leather.
Marcus.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
The guy who later that day was like, "Oh, I have a pop-up one you could use," and I just spent the whole day using a fucking trash one. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's easily one of the top stories of mine.
J-Borg?
I think mine is Tom Dow as well. Either that or the Penang thing.
Yeah.
But I've talked about that, I think, in the last two Trek-ins, just going to Penang by myself on a whim because we can. It was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
We did a little math when we were sitting down. That fun. We looked at how many places we've slept. Like
What was the final
the
number?
members of Trekyeah
Spent a night in.
Spent a night in. Yeah.
Yeah, different houses, different places.
Hotels, airports.
Yeah, if you
You
slept,
had slept there.
yeah,
You
like
had
the
to
whole
sleep
night.
there.
Yeah.
And it was among the four of us, 62 different places.
It's 63.
63.
I remember it was 63. Sorry. But we should get credit.
Okay.
Let's get that.
Anyway, yeah. So we've slept in 63.
Well, we didn't count the cities or the countries.
We just did the weird.
After that, we were like, "Oh, it'd be cool to know all the cities," and we started doing that, and just got real
lazy.
bored.
Right, we should have done all three.
After you name 63 places you've slept, you don't quite have the energy to name the countries that you've lived in.
Which is like 7 or 8 countries.
Yeah, 7 or 8 about this year. Between us 4. Not.
Right.
Well, we have some crazy stories, bro. Like walking into a super cheap in Thailand and in Phuket, and I mean, basically, think of it like a Sam's Club sort of beat in the back, but like much more like rats and birds.
It's like a Petco.
Like a Petco, but it's not. They don't
you
sell
can't have
pets.
those
You can't have them. You probably don't want them. And there's some huge racks of things.
It's called
and
Super Cheap.
super cheap. Yeah, 24/7,
It's on
baby.
brand.
And the front of the store in most locations is like almost like a convenience store, just like a little like drugstore. But then the back is where you open up and they got like fresh vegetables and
animals.
all that stuff. And I just remember it was when I was living in Phuket. I lived there by myself for 2 months. I just couldn't get like I needed some space from the States. Anyway, I was by myself. Anyway, you're running around and I walk into Super Cheap the first time. It's the closest grocery store, and I just see this, the occasional rat duck in between like vegetable stands, and birds like flying from light to light on top, and that's not like the thing you want to see like over and under your produce.
Right.
But I still went there. That's where I bought my 24 packs of Nescafe.
I think we've gotten a lot more used to rats this past year.
Oh yeah,
And spiders.
And spiders. We had some crazy
Oh,
battles.
yeah.
A lot of spiders. In fact, earlier, it was like 2 days ago, I was in that bathroom and I saw a spider like this big, and I didn't even care.
I saw him
was
too.
like,
I let him
I don't
live.
care about you because I've seen
these ones.
I've seen the
that
gods
are
that-
faster
and
and
dangerous.
smarter.
Right.
More evolved.
That was the spiders we had to kill in Hoi An
Oh man.
as a team.
I hated that room for that reason. After that room, though, that was exposure therapy. I don't give a fuck about spiders anymore,
Right.
man.
And then that big one in my room too.
Yeah,
That one wasn't as quick or scary, but he was bigger. Oh my god.
That was ridiculous, man.
There was when I first moved to Hanoi, I was living in an Airbnb that was above a restaurant in like the old quarter, and
Weird.
yeah, and it was this sick Airbnb. This old grandma. Like I first got there, I was like, I had like my bags and stuff, and she's like, yep. And she like grabs one of my bags, the heavy one, and like slings it over her back. I'm like, oh no, it's okay, let's go. And she like takes it up these stairs. She spoke no English, but within like 4 days, I think she asked me if like she was kind of like
Wanted to marry you?
She wanted me to marry her like daughter or like granddaughter or something. I don't know, but I would give her hugs. Like she would like try to give me all this food because it's a restaurant.
Yeah,
and I would eat there and stuff. One day I remember I was sitting I got home from teaching and I was sitting in the restaurant. I was talking to my grandma and I'm eating this kom chin haisan, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Seafood fried rice. Yeah. I'm eating it, and I'm on the phone with my grandma. I'm like, oh, there's a big rat right here, like in the restaurant, just like darting behind a bookshelf, like at eye level. Like it was a juicy one, and my grandma still remembers it, and won't let it. And it's like for me, it was like, oh, he's. I mean, this food is probably fine, and he's not anywhere where he touches me. So.
And cockroaches.
Cockroaches, yeah. You know the Vietnamese. They say that if you see a cockroach, it means you're going to be wealthy. So it's kind of like just a mindset thing, you know?
I hear that every time someone says cockroach.
Well, in South Carolina, they're called palmetto.
Thank you for... I hear that also.
That doesn't sound as bad as cockroach.
Yeah, I bet you've even said that in a couple tracks.
Probably in a couple, yeah.
One of my favorite stories is when I ran my first marathon in Da Nang, and these guys were with me, and we were living in Hoi An at the time, but we all got a place in a hostel, and these guys decided I had the marathon at 4 a.m. because it's so hot. That's when it started. And what? Okay. So much just stuff coming out of my body. Anyway, I had the marathon at 4 a.m. and these guys were just gonna go out, and then they were gonna give me a ride to because like my hostel was X amount far away from the hostel.
Then we figured you wouldn't want to run much more after.
Walk a mile to the start, not when you're about to run 26. Anyway, they were gonna have me covered. I woke up, I called Jason, he didn't answer. I was like, well, they probably passed out. That sucks. And then anyway, then Andy called me. He's like, dude, like I'm gonna come pick you up. And I was like, all right. He's like, you're not gonna get away with this. I stayed up for this because they were at a different hostel. And so he swung by, picked me up. They both saw me off for my race, and then they went and they took a nap, and then came back and watched me finish. So,
and then what did we do?
Then we ate a big breakfast.
And then what?
And then we napped together, 3 wide on a bed.
Sideways on your bed.
Sideways on a bed. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good nap.
Yeah, it was a good nap.
I think I needed it more than you.
I think we all needed that nap. That was a good nap. I'd kill for that nap.
That was I could really use that nap right now.
That was a good nap.
Here's one. All these stories seem to be like that. Those 2 months in Hoi An.
Yeah.
But this one's so good. I haven't thought about this in a long time. Do you remember when we, for our actual business, we were doing this proposal for Dweck and the
Yeah.
And we were putting that thing together, and
A huge proposal.
yeah, huge one, and the power went out in our house, so we had to go. But it was also like the New Year or whatever, so like fucking nothing was open. So we had to go to that rooftop hostel bar. And it's like there's like lights all around, like people are drinking.
It was right next to the big
cathedral.
Yeah. And so we're sitting there at this like party, this like bar in this hostel, like
way hungover.
in no, we were it was nighttime still.
I know, but we were hungover.
That day, it was you guys all went to that Chinese New Year party. You guys were way.
That was the day after that.
Yeah, because I remember I woke up and we were all gonna work on it, and I waited like 4 hours for you guys to even wake up.
I was way hungover,
man.
You guys
were, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
that's when we met That's the Tinder chick who invited the.
Shout out Tinder.
Shout out Tinder sponsored. Who invited us to the party, but also invited all the other her Tinder matches. That shit was so funny. And it was like her uncle and his friend who were in the military, and there was like a bonfire on a roof. Anyway, that was wild.
But the actual night, we're sitting there working on this proposal at a party hostel in fucking Vietnam, because that's what we had to do.
We're just killing the vibe before it could ever get started. Like some people would show up and they'd be drinking a little bit,
and they would sit near us.
Away, and they'd be like, "What the fuck? This is not fun."
Yeah, that was good.
And then we were leaving, and the guys at the bottom were getting tattoos. Next,
we were just giving some guy a tattoo.
We were like, "What the heck?" And he's like, "You're next, buddy." To Andy.
That's beast. What was the tattoo?
Can't show it on camera.
It was Hayabusa armor. He finally unlocked Hayabusa.
Came back to Da Nang from Phuket. So I was in Thailand for 2 months. I came back and I was really excited because we all have a special place in our heart for Vietnam for sure. Mm-hmm. And I hop in this Grab, and we're there, and he's we're chatting, but we're doing the chat app back and forth. And it's like we're here. He's got 2 kids. Like he heard that I was in Saigon and also Hanoi for a while, and so he gets that I know the country. And anyway, 5 minutes in the cabin, he's like, "Do you want to go get a massage with me?" Invites me to go get a massage with him somewhere. And I was like, "Sorry, man, I gotta work. I should have done it." Boom, 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 boom.
Is that what he said?
No, that's not what he said.
That's what he meant, though.
I wouldn't have been surprised, but he probably meant a real massage, he's.
Walker?
Yeah. So in a week.
What's the date? Because they'll be seeing this at another time.
January 15th. I'm heading to Bogota, Colombia. Me and my girlfriend are going to be there for a month and a little over, and then meet up with.
Jason and I are going to we're going to Colombia as well on beginning of February. Medellin. So we'll meet Walker down there. And maybe do some hopping around South America. Not totally sure on what we'll do.
I am in probably a month after they leave. I'm gonna go to probably Costa Rica and just surf and work for a month, and then meet up with them.
And wear a lot of sunscreen, probably.
Yeah, and so then I guess we're wrapping this up now. Feel free to add anything else on that you want, but one thing that I wanted to say is, so we just finished our first ever, what we did was an annual meeting for our business, which obviously is doing marketing online and selling physical products on Amazon. We finished our annual meeting, and it was pretty intense. 5 days of nonstop. We spent the first 2 days at Andy's parents' house. We spent the next 3 days at my parents' house, and we've been just planning and crunching numbers and goal setting, and all that's cool. But you don't care about that. The reason why I'm even bringing it up is because
we're looking for a host.
We're looking for a host.
Annual meeting. Put your bids in now.
No, the reason I'm bringing it up now is because one thing I did realize, and my phone's about to ring to tell me that we're about out of time. The one reason I wanted to say that was because I just had this realization was that just how powerful planning and setting really cool goals for a year is. I think it's really easy when you hit the new year to be like, "Oh, I have this resolution. I want to do this. I want to do this cool thing." But sitting down and looking at the numbers and this is the time I have. This is the time I can invest. This is what I need to do by this date in order to accomplish this goal. Really hashing that out is gives you a really powerful feeling and just drags it into reality. And it's just like, I've never spent so much time just thinking about planning and the goal of it. And it's so sick at how I can see why that's so important now. Everyone's like, oh, set goals, it's important. But just writing a goal down, that's not how you accomplish that goal. There's a lot more planning that goes into that. And what we did in the last 5 days was that. So if you're going to do something new and cool this year, I encourage you to spend a shit ton of time planning that, because that's what will make it real.
And that's why in 2019 Trekyeah will be sleeping at 85 different buildings.
85 different places. All
63
right.
is the thing of the past.
Well, team, if it hasn't cut out already,
It's gonna eventually.
we'll see you
When we see you.
when we see you.
February, the Valentine's Trek-in.
Oh, the boys get a little crazy in this one.
I'm tired.
You'll never believe what Andy did in this episode.
Stay tuned.